Welcome, everybody. We are back.
Yeah.
With this special Christmas Eve crack of dawn ass version.
This is cool. We're recording Dragon Ball Z, the Lookout on Christmas Eve.
Yes. So I'm going to try my best to release this today.
Yeah.
As opposed to just waiting like we were going to later in the week, because both of us have been feeling terrible this entire week. We caught whatever.
Trying to hold on, man. I'm trying to hold on, man.
I just want to say I will no longer give my business to any. I'm lying. I probably will go to Whole Foods afterwards, but Whole Foods gave me food poisoning, so I pretty much hate them right now.
Oh, God, bro. That makes me sad because I really, really like Whole Foods.
I appreciate what they do.
Yeah.
But I do not appreciate what they did to me.
No, I understand. I apparently have strep, so that's what I've been doing.
Listen, we're just trying our best to haul out these things, to make sure the entertainment is right, make sure the Dragon Ball vibes is right. I don't know if you can do vibes in Dragon Ball.
No, yeah, the vibes are right, man. This is like, I feel like Gohan. I feel like Goku in like the first 2 episodes of this what we're talking about today. That's how I feel right now.
Where he's just immobile and just not
a
moving.
lot of Goku on the ground in these discussions.
Oh my God. All right, so I want to preface this. First of all, of course, if you're listening to this late, Merry Christmas. If you're listening to this even later, belated Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy New Year, all these other things of that. We have a big announcement at the end of this episode, a podcast changing announcement. Announcement that you're probably going to want to stick around for to see.
A gift.
You know, it's a gift. Probably want to stick around for to see what we actually say, determine if you like it or not. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, oh well, tough luck.
But to me, if you like this podcast, like what we have that we're going to announce. So we're going to announce this actually after we do all this other stuff. But first, we got to get back into what we came here to do, and that's cap off this Dragon Ball Saiyan saga. I mean, as far as this look back, and going back through this entire arc, has it been a better rewatch for you than probably at any point? Has it been the same? Has it been, have you noticed anything new, noticed anything different, or just kind of, it's like, oh, this is like great nostalgia that I needed right now?
Yeah, I think that it's much better as an adult. I think it's a little bit more understanding, and you can kind of, if you've watched Super, if you finished Z, it's cool because you get to see where a lot of these things come from. Growth in personality, character development. I actually like it more today than I did in the past. And that's just because, when you're a kid, you're kind of watching it for specific reasons. It's not necessarily like, I wasn't like a kid like, oh, this storyline is so great.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not really what was. I mean, it was, but I didn't understand it in that sense at that time. I was just watching it because I thought it was extremely cool,
Same here. I mean, I think generally I haven't watched this arc I haven't sat down and watched this arc entirely in quite some time, just because I know the whole story of it. At this point, as if you've grown up in the same age that we've grown up, you've seen this a million times.
Yeah.
Like, there was a point where Toonami, where they stopped right around these kind of episodes, and then they didn't have any more new dubbed episodes, so essentially they replayed it back over and over and over. And then when Dragon Ball Z came to television, this was the arc that kicked it off, and you saw it over and over and over. And then Dragon Ball Kai comes out, and it's like, oh, we're changing the entire 293 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and we're condensing it to 100 episodes. So guess what? You're going to see this over and over and over. So at this point, I mean, I've seen it so many times that I didn't want to bother to go back and look at it, because it was just like, you know what? Let me just let it rock. Let me let it rest. Let me let it breathe.
Right.
And I know doing this podcast, we'll get back to it when we get back to it. And quite honestly, that's been my philosophy with also the Frieza saga, because I know we'll get to it one day.
We will, but I just piecing that together
I'm not
is
watching
like,
that.
Right, piecing the Frieza saga together, and how we're gonna have to do it because it's. Are we gonna add Ginyu?
Oh, you got the entire
You know what I'm
thing,
saying?
bro.
Like that's
From
like a
landing on
whole.
Namek
I
to
feel like that's
Namek
like
blowing
2
up.
seasons for us. You know.
It is a long. It is a long
It's
haul.
long. It's long, but I'm absolutely about it. I think Frieza is amazing, and
One of the GOAT anime villains.
yeah, I feel like we get a lot of content off. And I'll be honest with you, there's got to be plenty of things that I've forgotten from that. Because I'm probably when we do watch, I'm probably gonna watch it in entire.
Yeah.
So it's I'm sure there's plenty of things that we'll find out about Frieza that we're like, damn, forgot about that.
It would be great. You know what? One day we should try to set up some like live watch thing where we could both watch it and have people watch it with us, and also point out all the stupid stuff that happens in it. But until then, in the future, last time on the lookout, we definitely talked about Vegeta and Goku's epic genre-defining battle where they wage war. It was beams across the sky, and then we got the giant Uzaru Vegeta, and then we capped off. Oh, first of all, shout out to Devin for just being an amazing guest last episode. Oh my god. We're definitely gonna have him back. Like, he's just been an amazing guest. Also, another one of us who just loves anime unconditionally. So we definitely got to have him back in the future. But I mean, there's so much stuff that went on last episode, and the thing that's crazy with me with these set of episodes that were coming up, and we're gonna go through probably the latter half of episode 33 through like episode 36. So many things happened in this episode that I kind of I'm jarred by it, considering how stretched out the pacing of everything is after this saga. Like, considering how long the Namek and Frieza sagas are, considering how long the Android sagas are, considering how long the especially the Boo saga, it just went on forever. Especially how condensed all this actually is. I mean, we still had 12 episodes of filler in between this, but when it comes to the actual battle itself and the final moments of this battle, you kind of see a lot of things compressed into over the course of like 3 episodes or so. It made me wonder, like, if they would ever use this kind of formula again. And I guess they use it in Kai if you kind of want to just edit it a lot, but like use this formula of this pacing to manage to just kind of obliterate all of the extra talking that we got. Because when it comes to the Frieza saga, Frieza got to get his shit off, Goku's getting his shit off, Vegeta's getting his shit off, and everyone's talking.
right.
It's just so much talking of just like various legends and lores and backstory and so much thing that supports it. Whereas in this early saga, you get kind of those things, they're sprinkled in. Like the mention of Namek is sprinkled in. So you're like, oh, wait, what the hell? Like, they're talking about Namek.
Right.
Or like the mention that Goku is an alien is like sprinkled in. And it isn't too much to sort of drag on. And I guess they do compound on it later on after the fact. Right. But they're sprinkled into a point where you're like, that it's there. You could possibly do your own research if you want to. And then like there's more things to come, but I'm just surprised. My mind is boggled considering how Dragon Ball has gone for the last 25 years or so.
Their format is crazy, I feel like without American culture, this doesn't do what it does.
Yeah.
I feel like we really like. I feel like we had this conversation on Mount Silver before about how, as Americans, we make things a phenomenon. So like just off our energy as growing up in the 90s, like it's so quick to just turn everything. Once we start to love something, we turn that shit, on 100. The Pokemon was a great example. Everything was Pokemon.
Right. Yeah. You're right. And it's just so much of it.
Put it everywhere.
I'm surprised. I think over the course of these 2 episodes, it becomes starkly clear, and probably my favorite realization watching this on this kind of run is how the ties begin to turn for Vegeta, considering his cool, calm composure at the beginning when he's introduced, and kind of how like rattled, wrecked, and kind of destroyed that he is, both mentally and physically, he is by the end of this entire thing, is kind of a sight to see.
Well, we've seen him get his ass whooped pretty hard throughout the years, but I feel like this is maybe this is probably his biggest ass whooping.
It's up there.
I'll be honest, yeah. Like just like watching it back, and
I think you know what I think we might have different words when we go back to the Frieza arc and we see.
I mean, I know
Frieza beating him up for 20 minutes.
I'm just saying he took a lot. He took some shit. Like the nigga ate a spirit bomb, for God's sake.
This is true. I mean, resiliency is the name of the game for this guy. As hard as
I know it came from Krillin, but.
As hard as he tried to put them down. They tried maybe even harder to put him down, and it just wasn't working.
You know why I put this above the Frieza situation? Because I feel like the Frieza situation was obvious. Like, I mean, it's like, of course this guy's gonna kick your ass. You know, but like to get your ass whooped by, you know, Krillin, a kid, Goku, and Yajirobe.
Right.
I wasn't expecting that, man.
100%. I mean, I think just in general with this, I mean, we looked at it, we see Vegeta just kind of ravage, and, you know, by the end of the last episode, we talk about how Yajirobe cuts off his tail. He turns back into just a regular form, and he's
livid.
Sick.
Yeah. This is like the worst.
He is sick because he's just like, oh my God. And I find it a hilarious moment where Gohan and Goku are having this father and son moment because Goku's completely immobilized. Like he's out of action for the rest of the battle. The only thing he does from here on out is apparently telepathy, which is wow. Imagine going that far. But and Vegeta's just like, nope, actually, I'm going to break his ribs as well. Which I thought was cool. Yeah. He's a savage. He's a savage.
He has to.
He's a savage.
I would have been disappointed if it wasn't more.
He's savage because he's just like, he's realizing that, like, listen, everything that can go wrong has been going wrong. I'm fighting these people who weren't supposed to be this strong, and they're stronger than I thought. There's about 3 of them. I turned into the Uzaru, the Great Ape, which is supposed to be like the death kill for any planet, and then some fatso cuts off my tail. Like everything that could be going wrong is going wrong with Vegeta, and he's just like, oh my God, I can't process that, I can't handle it. He even goes into this entire moment, especially that father-son moment, and where Gohan kind of he's slowly realizing the stakes of what's going on, and I think it's really starting to dawn in on him. I mean, as if it didn't dawn on him before when Piccolo died, that everything is in danger. And you could probably take this kind of like the shot of brilliance that he has, like this fighting brilliance when he, really stands up against Vegeta and starts fighting him. You could probably take this, this shot and kind of like hold it side to side with the moment that he turns Super Saiyan 2. Right. Because I think with those 2 moments, he kind of realizes the true gravity of what's going on. He realizes that, like, when he turns Super Saiyan 2, he's like, listen, I'm not just a kid anymore. Like, at this point, the world's responsibility is in my hands. Whether or not my father...
it's my choice now.
Yeah, whether or not my father can do it or not, whether or not it's somebody else's responsibility and I'm 11 years old or I'm 5 years old or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. At this point, I have to do it because no one else will. And if I don't do it, everyone else will die.
It's finished.
So, Gohan gets up. He starts slapboxing with Vegeta.
A little bit, yeah. He's pissed off, man. He's pissed.
Yeah, they go in hand-to-hand combat. They're like fighting in the air. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. They're like punching and kicking while floating. I was like, what? I don't think Vegeta at any point during this entire thing figured that he'd be on the ropes by a 5-year-old.
No.
So
that's what I said. It's just so confusing for him. Like I said, him getting his ass whooped by Frieza is like, well, that's understandable.
But this is just outlandish. This is just like, it's just like, wow.
Get out of here.
With that said, while all this is going on,
it was all one day.
I mean, yes.
This is all one day, guys. Like I feel like we have to keep saying that because it seems crazy, but this is a fucked up day.
Yeah, this is one of the worst days of Vegeta's life. And On the Instagram, our Instagram, you can follow us at the lookout.db. We put up a brief little slideshow. I try to get cute with it. Instagram's dimensions things didn't want me to get cute with it, so it is what it is at this point. But we put up kind of the 5 worst days of Vegeta's life, and this is up there.
Yeah,
quite honestly,
it's gotta be. Lost a tail, lost a soldier, lost a fight,
had to retreat.
Yeah.
But while he's going up against Gohan and they're fighting hand-to-hand combat, Goku entrusts Krillin with the Spirit Bomb, and I think this warrants a conversation about the Spirit Bomb, and I'm sure we'll have another conversation about a much bigger Spirit Bomb later. And I think we've had a conversation about the Spirit Bomb before in the Buu Saga.
Yeah, and a possible return for Spirit Bomb.
Oh, this is true. So the Spirit Bomb, it is really. I feel like the accuracy of this move, it's supposed to be the kind of be-all, end-all, using all life force on various planets of this planet, of et cetera, to create this giant, orb of ki or whatever it is, and it's supposed to destroy anything evil and not destroy anything good. I would say that the tales of the Spirit Bomb has been grossly overrated.
Is the Spirit Bomb cool? Because I kind of like, I don't consider it to be. I feel like it's so desperation, like I prefer, the Kamehameha ways, the Gallic Gun, the Final Flash, the shit like that. I'm not
well,
like
those come out of a visceral place, like
right.
I think those come out of a place of aggression and intensity and all this other stuff like that. Whereas the Spirit Bomb, there's like patience. You gotta be one. There's time that needs to be taken together.
I just feel like it's so easy to like they've done great, maintaining the secret, the way it's done, because you can get your ass beat while trying to
gather the
you know what I mean?
Gather the energy for this, yeah.
Right. So, which is for me, I guess, because if you hear Spirit Bomb or you see Spirit Bomb, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be watching it for 3 episodes.
Yeah. And this is about the same.
This wasn't the case.
No, I mean, it was kind of. He starts gathering it the last set of episodes.
It's a small one, too.
Yeah. It's a small one. I'm just like, oh, okay. All right. Well, whatever.
Wasn't enough.
I'm not sure if it was Earth or something went wrong. I was like, why is it so small? But you know what? But maybe that's all he knew at that point.
Yeah, maybe.
So he didn't want to use too much energy, but nonetheless, Goku forms a Spirit Bomb, albeit all his bones being broken. And he hands it over to Krillin. He says, Krillin, now you've got the power. And you'll know the right time and when to launch this. And I was like, why are we giving this to Krillin?
Yeah, it's just
But then again, there's no one else.
I'm about to say, like, who else could take it?
Yeah. I mean,
the Yajirobe, man.
Yeah, Yajirobe eat that. I don't know what the hell. You'd be like,
you think Spirit Bomb would have killed him?
He would have ran away with the Spirit Bomb. He's like, I'm not touching that. Like, a whole bunch of other things like that. Just, but I guess Krillin was the.
Krillin is strong, Meelz.
Krillin is strong, especially in this thing. He's his best friend. He has the trust in him.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things going on with Krillin that I'll excuse for this. So he gives it to Krillin, and Krillin is stressed. He is out of his mind because he's just like, yo, when am I supposed to launch this thing? This is the power of everyone on Earth? Huh? This is crazy.
I'd have been like, hey, nigga,
never felt closer to a main character in his life.
Right, I would have yelled over to him like, hey, don't get that shit get to your head, nigga. It's a small one, nigga. That's exactly what I would have did if I was Goku. Hey, nigga.
Hey.
Calm down. It's a small one, baby.
It's a small one, baby. It's Krillin size,
Right.
Oh my god. So eventually, Krillin gets the moment in his head. It's a Spidey sense, or he sees the thread or whatever, anime sort of thing. He sees it and he launches the Spirit Bomb. The Spirit Bomb flies across. It's just like it's like a dodgeball but full of energy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
He launches.
Vegeta
slow, huh? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's slow in all its iterations at this point. Like it comes down like a giant. I excuse the slowness for the huge ones because it's like it's
Right. It makes
massive.
sense if it's slow, if it's that big. Yeah.
Yeah, but the other ones I can't excuse. But so he launches it. Vegeta manages to sense it before, but I don't even know if he senses it much as Yajirobe is like, throw that thing, Krillin!
I'm
Like,
saying, like, come on, Yadro, what the fuck are you doing, man?
what are you doing?
Right.
So Vegeta hops over it. The hops of a god. God bless him. Now it's heading towards Gohan, and he's like, yo, what is going on? Luckily, there's this rule apparently with the spirit bomb that if you have a pure heart,
I'll be honest. I forgot
not
about
destroy
this.
you. Yeah, it will not
Yeah,
destroy you.
I'll be honest. I totally forgot about this. And uh, I a pure heart. What does that
Pure
entail?
heart. A pure heart, there's no malice in your heart. I
Mm-hmm.
guess no jealousy, no
Right.
evil intent,
Like,
no aggression, no nothing. Because you can't form this as a Super Saiyan pending the rules that we learned in Tournament of Power.
right.
Super Saiyans, blue, yellow, green, black, whatever. They cannot form this. It can only be formed by someone with a pure heart, and those who turn Super Saiyan have too much malice in their heart.
No way I
can
can catch that thing. No way.
Yeah.
I can catch that thing.
So
That thing is
Gohan,
hitting me, and I am exploding.
yeah. So Gohan bounces it back. He's like, "Oh, just bounce it back," and Gohan's like, "What?" And then he just bounces it back.
Yeah.
And it hits Vegeta, and Vegeta like does this like his body like contorts and like it's like electrified. And,
he looked malnourished while he was getting hit by the spirit bomb.
He's like, yo, it should have played Cardi at that instant or something.
Yeah.
But like, because he really died lit right there.
Yeah, he looked awful. That shit looked painful as hell.
Oh my god, he gets launched up into the air, and they think it's over, but they don't know the spirit bomb like we know the spirit bomb.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit bomb is never the final, unless it's Majin Buu. It is legitimately never the final answer.
No.
Vegeta survives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Barely.
What a life. The man is really as durable
It's a crazy
as
day.
advertised.
A crazy day. Crazy few hours for the Z fighters.
So Vegeta survives, and he's just like, everyone got to die right at this point. So he uses whatever energy he has to launch everybody out and just like, boom, blow everything off. But then he realizes at some point, and this is the next major thing that happens in these like legitimately like 2 episodes at this point, that, oh, Gohan's tail grow back. What a coincidence. Oh, there's an artificial moon. Fuck, what a coincidence.
Right.
Oh, I gotta make sure to cut this kid's tail off. And then I think he gets distracted by Yajirobe.
Yeah.
And starts beating up Robe, which is like, you know what? I get it. I get it. I think Yajirobe took a few punches. You know what? I get it.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
But at the last moment, he forgets that Gohan's tail is still on, and Goku implores his son to look up at the fake moon, and get your life. And he turns into a giant ape. So now we have 2 giant apes in this arc. Gohan and the first Vegeta. Now rare. Gohan, very rare. Actually, it doesn't happen again.
I was gonna say, yeah, that too. But like, I don't know, man. I want to see 2 great apes go at it, man.
I think it might be too much, man.
I don't think it'd be too much.
I think so. I think at this point, what?
If they're going to do it, they only really had this moment to do it.
Yeah, essentially. So it was just like great ape versus great ape. I think they could have put it together. At this point, yeah, they obviously could have put it together. When Vegeta was an ape, could have made Gohan showed up at the same time. Look at the moon. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. He's an ape too. They're probably trying to stay away from it. Like, let's not set this precedence of giant apes or giant even things just in general. They're probably hard to draw, hard to figure out how to destroy. But I feel like they definitely made the Vegeta one happen to kind of set the precedence of how we get rid of the giant ape, so they could do it again when Gohan does it.
Of course.
But Gohan, yeah, no one is able to control him. He's smashing everything. And granted, yes, he's 5 years old. So, I mean, I don't think he has a major tap on his own strength or his own body or anything like that.
It seemed like Vegeta was kind of still in control.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vegeta 100%, knew what he's doing. But Gohan clearly doesn't know. But you know what? I got to give props to Vegeta because this man legitimately fought a giant ape.
He did.
Head on. Yeah, and he was like, you could really look in his eyes and be like, yo, I mean, his one eye at that point, because his other eye had just been permanently shut from taking a beam to the eye.
A really bad day. Yajirobe cut him in the back, too. Slices.
Yeah, I know that hurt.
No,
that hurt like hell. It was like, you ever feel like open wind on an open wound?
He got slashed pretty deep on his back too.
All that dust around in that dusty ass area. It was like you get an infection, baby.
Yeah, he definitely needs a shot.
He's like cut him through the armor and everything. I remember that. I was
that sword is. What's up, Yajirobe, man?
Yeah, turn that up. Turn that up. Come on, let's we get some people to make you a fine katana in another anime series.
Absolutely.
Vegeta goes head to head up with Gohan, and he's just like, you know what? I think he manages to say, like, listen, F this, I'm cutting off his tail. And he manages to get it done, only to fail to realize it's like, yo, I've got nowhere to move, no strength to fly, nowhere to go. So now this giant ape is going to fall on me. And guess what? At the end of it, it's going to turn back into a naked kid. So that's even double weird.
Yeah. Falls right, like just crushes him and then naked kid.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it. What an awful day. What an awful day, dog.
What a terrible day, bro.
What a terrible day he's having, dude.
Oh my God. He's having the worst.
Vegeta, like, you guys, like, if you haven't seen this, watch again. Like, he looks awful. I mean, it's blood everywhere, shoulder tore up, slash on the back, no tail. I think they show the blood coming out the cut. Yeah. He's just punching Yajirobe in the face. Like, he's just having an awful day. Goku is still knocked out, guys. Like, he's on the ground. Immobile.
I mean, he looks hurt, but he's chilling. Like, none of this has affected him.
Yeah.
So Vegeta's like, I think at that point, when the naked kid fell on him, he was like, yo, enough is enough.
I'm done. I don't care what happens anymore. I'm going home. I'm getting out of here.
It took out, what was it, an iPhone, an iPod, an iPhone.
Took out something.
A Nextel chirp, something. Man took out a device, hit a few keys.
Ask Siri where his ship was.
Yeah. It flies out of a laboratory.
I found one option.
You hear that?
I heard that. I heard that. Listen. Merry Christmas. But he flies out the lab. I mean, it flies out the lab and it meets him there. And he's like, yo, I've got to get out of here. This is way too much. He's crawling to his ship. And then Krillin, out of all people, he's now able-bodied. He sees Yajirobe's katana. He points at him. Now he's, nah, you're not going to get away with what you've done. And Vegeta's crawling. He can barely use his legs. He's just like crawling to his ship. And Krillin's got a whole katana, a whole knife above him. And he's like, yo, you about to get stabbed right now.
This is it. Like, your worst day is about to get way worse.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, in my mind, I was like, yo, is Krillin really about to be a murderer right now? And I know people kill people in the show, but like to kill a person by stabbing them is a different type of evil.
It's different. It's definitely different. You feel that.
Yeah, you feel it. You feel their body. You feel your body. You feel everything that's kind of going
on.
I
want to rewind a little bit because Vegeta's desperation on like beating up Gohan as he's transforming. He's trying so hard to kill this guy.
Oh yeah, multiple.
He's like, please don't. He's like, please don't transform. Like, please don't. He's just like beating up Gohan's body while he's like transforming. And Vegeta's so sick. He's like, I cannot believe he's about to transform right now.
I hate this day so much. Vegeta looks legitimately afraid because he's just like, yo, I'm really about to get stabbed. Like, this is. I would have been like, you know what, just kill me now because this has already been a terrible day.
Yeah.
Like, just end my shit so we can get out of here. I can go meet Nappa at the big cloud in the sky, and we can figure out how to patch things up from
What
there.
the hell's next?
Until Goku, of course, it's Goku.
Of course,
using telepathy because that's his new thing. Says, don't kill him. Chill.
Just let him go.
Just let him go. Listen.
I'm tired. He's tired.
I think he's gonna remember this. And
I think he's gonna remember this.
I think he's gonna remember this.
Maybe he'll have a change of heart one day.
Maybe he'll have a change of heart one day.
Maybe like, how can Goku time out? How can Goku watch all of this from the ground?
See all his friends die.
And that is what he comes up with. He's like, you know what? This guy's gonna change one day. Let him go, Krillin.
He's gonna change, but he's not. He can only change if we let him go. He can't change if we kill him. So he can only change if we let him go.
I think Goku had at that point realized how much of a prideful person he was. And he probably saw what this fight did to Vegeta's morale.
I think also, you know what? I think also Goku realizes how much Vegeta means for himself as well, considering how much history Vegeta has on his own, culture.
Right.
Like, there's only 2 Saiyans left besides, at this point, it's only 2 pure-blooded Saiyans, which is just Goku and Vegeta. And he realizes how much of that Vegeta actually holds. And he realizes they're a lot more alike than probably different, as minus the killing thing. But there's so many different things. It's the pride. It's the battles that Goku wants to experience in the future. And we kind of get to really see him, like, really full-fledged become a Saiyan. Right. Or at least embrace that kind of Saiyan thing of, like, love to fight. And just so much more. But he says, like, listen, Krillin, just let him go. And Krillin's like, let him go, but he killed everybody. Like, he's
Krillin had great points.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, Krillin had great points. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense to let him go, but you know what? Let him go. And I think it's our favorite shot of this entire arc is when he lets Vegeta go. Vegeta hops back into the ship with one eye.
Yeah.
With a big smile on his face, is like, oh, y'all fucked up.
You motherfucker stupid. I'm about to go train and I'm going to be back.
I'm going to be back to destroy this dirt clod in the sky. And you guys won't be prepared for it. And you're going to wish you had destroyed me. And he just flies off. And, the war is over for now, at least. And the Earthlings have won. I want to say the Earthlings have won.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say?
That's a W.
That's a W.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, Goku ruined Krillin's legacy in this episode, man.
Talk about it.
I mean, Krillin could have been the one that killed Vegeta. Prince of all Saiyans. And he took that.
Krillin could have had a body on his hands.
I feel like it was more out of jealousy. Goku was like, I can't let this motherfucker kill Vegeta. It's got to be me.
Does Krillin have bodies?
I'm sure it's like some CB characters. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, some CB characters.
I'm Googling right now people killed by Krillin.
Hey, Vegeta just learned Destructo Disc on his own.
Because
he definitely threw that at Gohan's tail, but like the way that they've made Destructo Disc, it was an exclusive Krillin move. Obviously up until later, but he definitely pulled that shit out.
Yeah, I mean, he whipped it out. I think
Frieza can do it too.
Yeah,
I think he didn't get it from Krillin. So
I think it was more of an adaptive type of thing where it's kind of like, it was less of a this is my technique and more so of a how can I say this? One of those techniques where it's just like you're just there to survive. It's like a functional technique. It's not more something that it's just something functional. Like, okay, I can transfer my ki into doing anything.
Krillin just named it.
Yeah, maybe Krillin coined the term.
Yeah, he just
Maybe
named
he
it.
made it a hot line, and Vegeta made it a Frieza made it a hot song.
Yeah, Frieza's Destructo discs are like godly.
Yeah. I mean, but Krillin, he upgrades it in Super. He upgrades it a little bit. He sees how much people have almost died from it. He's like, yo, if he can do that, I can do that. Um, let's get to the epilogue of this entire thing. And by epilogue, I mean all the stuff that happens after the cool stuff happens.
Yeah.
Um, so the useless Z fighters show up. We haven't talked about them the entire arc. There's not much to talk about. They're pretty much witnesses to this entire thing, watching from either Baba's ball or a television set. But they show up, realizing they have nothing to contribute to this arc in any fashion, other than comedic relief. And they show up and they're like, oh, fantastic. Everyone's alive. Let's talk about Chi-Chi for a second, who clearly shows up on the scene as soon as that door opens. She runs. Goku is right there. She leaps over that man, leaves him in the dust, and grabs her now naked son.
Yeah. At this
Goku's
point,
bones are broken.
Goku can't be surprised, man.
No,
he can't be surprised. He got his son ass beat.
First
Turned
of all,
him into a monkey.
He got his son essentially, I wouldn't say kidnapped, but I think he coerced him into like Piccolo into stealing her son for an entire year.
Too. Let's not forget about that.
For an entire year, training him to be a fighter instead of focusing on being a scholar. Luckily, Gohan becomes a scholar anyway.
Right.
Scholar first, fighter second, by everything that I know.
Yuck.
Yuck. Luckily, he becomes a scholar anyway. But all these other things, I mean, nearly gets him killed on national television.
Mm-hmm.
Shows up late. All these other things, so many different things where Chi-Chi's like, you stay away from my son.
Let's be clear. If you guys watch Dragon Ball Z, this does not stop.
No.
Goku continues to put Gohan in very dangerous situations.
And Chi-Chi just reacts accordingly. Until Gohan is eventually all grown up.
Get used to this, yeah.
And even then, she's like, you sure you want to go to high school with people?
Right. Weird.
He's like, no, Mom, it's just 100 miles away. Of course I can fly there at any fucking time. But yeah, she does not care. Chi-Chi does not care at all. I mean, she makes it known on the ship ride back that they do not care. Because Goku is so trash for everything he's done. He died, didn't even call, nothing. Sacrificed himself, probably learned that he sacrificed himself. He's like, why the hell would he sacrifice himself? Don't you have a child to raise?
It's tough, man. It's tough. Goku's job is 100% tough, but he is an awful father.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, we're still rolling with that. I'm never gonna stop that. Goku, if he was, in our dimension, he would definitely not be paying child support. He'd definitely be rapping about it. He would just be a deadbeat.
Yeah, I mean, easy, just like that.
He teaches specific fundamentals that make you look cool, but like he's not really there.
Everyone goes up. Night begins to actually fall for the first time in this day. And they finally, I guess, at this point, they fly over Graveyard Canyon and see the bodies of Yamcha, Tien, and Piccolo.
Weaklings.
And they're like, where's Chaozu? Oh my God.
I wouldn't even ask about him.
I wouldn't even ask. I was like, didn't you see it on TV? What's wrong with you people?
Would have assumed. Yeah, I already would have assumed he's finished.
Too soon.
Where's Chaozu? Oh yeah. We watched him explode. Why are we asking where he is?
In a bridge, it's so funny because it's just like, oh, there's a little bit of him over there. And over there. And over there. But yeah, they pick up the dead bodies. I mean, after this, we don't see what happens to the dead bodies afterwards. I'm not sure if they're cremated or cooked over.
They probably bury them or something, or
eat them or something. I don't know.
Vegeta was still talking shit as the doors closing on his ship. I'm sorry, I just passed that. I'm watching these over again as we record, but he was still talking to Krillin as the door shut and laughing.
Oh my God. Bulma is still grieving over Yamcha. She just still is. She's not over it. She's Whatever.
We spoke about that. You know my feelings on that. It's fake love, man. Fake love.
Super fake love.
She didn't care about his name until she saw him on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, she got the vapors. She got the vapors because she thought Yamcha was about to beat up New Saiyan, Vegeta, and Nappa, and then he gets murked by a C character.
Oh my god.
She had the vapors.
She had the vapors because she just saw him on TV. I mean, like, that's so hilarious.
And then later on, she gets with Vegeta.
This is true. So it was never meant to be.
Never meant to be.
And sometimes that's how life is,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I learned from the Wonder Years.
She was emotional, but it was the context was wrong.
So at this point, all the context begins to come through, and Krillin brings up a little aspect. He was like, "Oh, Planet Namek. You were talking about a Planet Namek that Piccolo's from. There's another set of Dragon Balls on there." And then King Kai chimes in. He's like, "Planet Namek, like." Let me see where it is. Let me see where it's at, and might have to do that.
I'm sorry. It brought up the whole Vegeta, like, you didn't know you're in the Namekian? Have you looked at yourself?
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, it's like Planet Namek. The coordinates for it are boom boom zam zam zow.
Yeah, and
Bum was like, oh, it's gonna take us how many years to get here? It was like, oh, but we can hijack a Saiyan ship, and then we can finally get there. And we can save our friends, and we can get there in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Nothing.
And they're like, yeah, new adventure. They all do pose at the end of the episode. It's like, new adventure, totally. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I kind of wanted to still see more of the episodes. Like, should we do Frieza Saga or something? I'm still like, oh wow, I'm getting very excited. Like, I'm getting thrown back to my childhood because I have not watched the Frieza Saga in full.
Yeah, that cooldown is serious. Dragon Ball is notorious for fucking cooldown episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's a lot of crazy shenanigans going on, people are
before
dying.
They even reach Namek. I mean, there's so much shit.
It's just so much cooldown. Like, everybody calm down. Let's see what everybody's up to.
Yeah, and watching this week by week, trust me, just for them to get to Namek. Mm-hmm. And then they get to Namek and nothing really happens.
Nothing really happens.
For the first couple of episodes.
Down, bro. Yeah.
But there's just so many things going on. But you know what? That is the Saiyan arc. That is the Saiyan saga. Man. I enjoyed revisiting it.
Yeah, I love the Saiyan saga, man.
It was fun. It gave us kind of the basics. It gave us a nice, cool set of episodes to run through. Mm-hmm. It's just fun, and we hope everyone else enjoyed it. If you've been listening to this podcast for the last number of weeks, because we have enjoyed this over the last month or so. I guess we should go to the announcement that we have.
It's time. Yeah,
it is time. So if you've been tuning in thus far, and you've been wondering, what are we going to talk about? What is this genre-changing announcement? I'm not even saying genre-changing. I guess it is for us. I mean, it's a slight little genre change. I mean, it's still the same thing, but different genre. So what we have to announce is that the Lookout, beginning in 2020. So 2020 starts in about 7 days, 8 days or so. Beginning in 2020, we'll be exploring all types of animes over the anime universe. We will be no longer just a Dragon Ball podcast. We will be a pure anime podcast.
We're talking about a lot of different animes 2020.
That means we will know, and this was to be honest with you, I don't know if this would have happened as quickly as it did if it wasn't for the Summer Kame House series that people, responded very greatly to, and we appreciate that as well. I think that was kind of like a test run for us, even if we didn't even know it at the time.
Definitely.
It was kind of a test run at the time to see, like, okay, let's go over different arcs and let's see where people enjoy this, and maybe people will watch that, and et cetera, et cetera.
We want to make sure we give you guys, a proper product and a lot of great things to talk about, because we're in a situation currently where Super is not back as well, and we want to make sure you guys get some good stuff, talk about some animes that we haven't talked about, or maybe you heard us kind of talk in passing on other shows, and this just gives us a chance to really open up our brand?
So we have so many different things that we're going to talk about from now on. It will not be just Dragon Ball. But Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong. We will sprinkle some in there. First of all, Dragon Ball
Super
Super
will be back. Yeah, it will be back.
The Frieza saga is still there. We've held it all for a reason because it is big, it is massive, it is so important to the actual culture and the product of anime and Dragon Ball just in general, and also it is long as fuck. So we will get there eventually, and there's still some cool stuff in Dragon Ball that I think is worth watching. I was watching the Piccolo saga the other day. I was like, this is still fun. To see and all that other stuff. It's like May 8th will be Piccolo Day and we'll destroy a city every year as a celebration. And I'm just like, whoa, aggressive. But so many things. I mean, we have so much. There's so many new animes to talk about. There's so many classic things I haven't seen that maybe Jeff has seen, that maybe Jeff wants to put me on, that I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch, but now I'll be forced to sit down and watch it.
We have a lot of Demon Slayer pressure.
Right. I mean, that's one as well that we will definitely be talking about. And then also is like, we also want to put you guys on the cool stuff. Hopefully you guys can put us on the cool stuff. Yeah, we can have a much bigger, wider variety of guests with this type of thing. So I think, we're making the right steps. We're making the right progress. We want to continue to evolve as a show. We've had for the past almost 2 years now, we've gone over Dragon Ball and had fun with it, and I think we've had more fun than we previously thought we would have. But we've had so much fun covering it, and now we're just, we're expanding the universe, and Absolutely. Now there's so many different things to cover, and there's so many different things that we'll get to, and we'll get to it all starting in 2020. But until then, please follow RNC Radio Live on Twitter. Please follow lookout.db on Instagram to stay on the news of when we will be back. I feel like it'll be sooner than later. It will be sooner than later. Because there's with the new anime, there's so many new things that's going on, and we have to stay in the thing, stay in the, I guess, in the groove as well. So we will be back sooner than later. So make sure you follow RNC Radio Live and lookout.db to make sure you stay tuned, so you get the date of when we will be back. Also, I continue to bury the lead every fucking episode, but rncradio.bigcartel.com. I don't know why I don't just start out the thing with the stupid, I need to really just put it at the header of every one of the notes app, but I always forget
Cop
to.
Cop
some teas. Who knows? Maybe by next year we'll have so many more animes on so many different teas, and it'll be just so fun. But until then, man, thank you guys. We want you guys to have a happy holiday.
Absolutely. And a new year.
And a happy new year as well. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, all the great stuff. All the, just have a happy, just safe, blessed new year. And we will be back in 2020. Take care, guys.